What's up, everybody? Friday Faceoffs here, and Friday Faceoffs is sponsored by
Titan Battle Gear. If you heard our recent conversation with the founder of Titan Battle Gear, you know why we're excited about what they're building. Titan is changing how players think about their base layer protection. It's Velcro free, breathable, lightweight, and made with the highest rated cut resistant fabric on the market today. It's no wonder that they've recently become an official partner with USA Hockey to help advance player safety. This is definitely the gear I want my athletes wearing. Hockey Think Tank listeners get 15% off by going to titanbattlegear.com/GMBM.
Boom. Let's go, baby. All right. I got a hot button topic here for you guys here today. Something that we can probably do an entire episode on. And this is something I talk about a lot, especially with the parents in my parent education stuff that I do with the groups that we work with and partner with. But this is obviously silly season. It's end of February, early March. And everybody has forgotten that there's still an end to this season that we need to deal with and be in the moment for. And everybody's on to next year already, which is a tough time of year for everybody, for program directors, for coaches, for parents and kids too. And so what I wanted to talk about here today is because I get this question a lot, but it's kind of like, when do you know that it's time to move on? And if it's time to move on from the organization that you're with, from the coach that you're with, whatever it may be. I have some strong thoughts on this, but I wanted to ask you first, in your experiences and what you know about the game and just the makeup of the players that are coming through. This is a topic that I get asked about a lot right now. So how do you know when it's time to move on, to make that decision? Go.
I think that we've taken the easy road a little bit, or we've allowed people to take the easy road a little bit because there's so many opportunities. So you just want to make sure that you're not just taking away your child having to earn it. I think that you got to make sure that, and obviously, I have a daughter now, so I at least a little bit get the rose-colored glasses, but you as the parent, make sure you're being honest with yourself. If your kid is on the fourth line, but he's a fourth line type of player right now, maybe that's where he deserves to be. Just leaving because you think he's so much better than that. Like there's just so much of that. There didn't used to be so much choice. Like it's the same thing in college hockey. College hockey right now. Oh, you didn't play as a freshman? Well, I'm going to leave. Well, like, you were younger than everybody else. You're weaker than everybody else. You don't have the experience, and you weren't ready to help the team win. But if you got better all year long, maybe sophomore year, now you're playing a regular shift. By your senior year, maybe you're a first or second line guy, right? Like, I think we've just kind of taken away some of the adversity by always getting up, packing up my stuff and leaving. So what I'm trying to say is, like, you don't want to leave if, like, you're taking away adversity that's good for your child. But if, coaching is better, opportunities are better, one organization provides off-ice workouts and one organization doesn't. Well, if your kid isn't super athletic, or, you want them to progress physically, well, the one that's offering workouts, like, they're offering more, maybe that's the better situation. So I'd be looking for more of things like that are, coaching and development wise and opportunities like that. But just, like, really make sure that it's not you're running away from adversity, because you don't want to teach your child that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I had a conversation with a coach in college hockey last week of one of the top programs in the country, and the thing that is hard is transfer portal. Is it at that level? It's hard to create a culture, and culture wins at the end of the day.
Right.
And you want to bring in kids to your program who understand the value of playing for something bigger than yourself, because then they're going to accept certain roles. Then they're, if things aren't going well, the first thought isn't going to be, oh, I'm just going to jump to the next school, because then they're going to give me an opportunity or whatever it may be. And so I totally agree with you in the sense that, like, we're losing a little bit of fighting through stuff. And there's so many options for kids nowadays. It's so many different programs that they can go to, that like it's easy to get up and leave. But what I would say and caution people is the grass is very rarely greener on the other side. Very, very rarely greener on the other side. And there's a lot of people who sell a lot of stuff who don't follow through on a lot of stuff when it comes to youth hockey stuff too. And so obviously if there's like, abuse, verbal abuse, your kid hates playing hockey, things like that. Or there's just a much, 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 much better opportunity, kind of like that you talked about, that can fit your son or your daughter better. But like, other than that, like if you have an organization that cares about your kid, a coach that cares about your kid, even if they're not like the greatest coach in the world, even if your son or your daughter isn't, one of the top players on the team, that's, like you said, that's a great way of putting it. It's where they are right now. Doesn't mean that's where they're going to be at the end of the year. Doesn't mean it's where they're going to be next year. It's up to them ultimately in their work ethic. People think about you talking like a finite way. It's not. That like development, like it's a curve. Like you get better, you get worse every day. And there's kids who are ahead of your kid that are going to get worse. And there's kids that are going to be behind your kid that are going to get better. And so like focusing on the things that you can control is so important. And that's where like we're really missing the boat here a lot with all this jersey chasing and club hopping, is that like we have to understand and we have to teach these players that their journey is way more in their control than you think. Everybody always wants to think about and talk about the external things, what team you're on, what ranking that team has, what super team you're going to do, what tournament you need to go to in the summer and all that. When the biggest thing that matters is getting better. And you do that by focusing on the things that are in your control and not outside of your control. And when you teach your kids to take the easy way out, right? Because if things aren't going well and the easy way out is to go to another club because they're offering you X, Y, or Z, like I would rather have a kid that's got to fight through it and earn it, because that player, I guarantee you, is going to be the better player in the end. And that player is also going to be equipped with the life skills that's going to help them be a better person in whatever avenue they choose once hockey is done or outside of hockey. And so, man, like this is a time of year where I just caution everybody to take a freaking breath, choose to see things a little bit more from a 10,000 foot view. Is your son or your daughter getting better? Are they enjoying the game? Do they have a passion for coming to the rink? Do they enjoy their teammates? Things like that. And man, like, think of this as a personal development to make your kid better, not for them to achieve a dream at the end of the day. That's going to be the byproduct of the things that they can control, not the result.
100%. And we know it's tough, like obviously, and there are situations where, yes, obviously it does make sense to go somewhere else. It's tough to every situation's different. It depends, obviously. But like when you're thinking about these things, what we're trying to say is just make sure you're looking in the mirror and you're being honest about like all the good where you currently are, why aren't you currently happy? And if this is just like an adversity thing, like if it is, good life lesson. I have worked with so many players, okay, over the last 18 years, so many players in person. And the ones who are always running, like I know where their career's ending up, right? I know where life after hockey, how their business, like life is probably going to look like, their work life. They're probably going to be bouncing around companies because, they haven't learned the value of sticking somewhere, digging in their heels and climbing up the corporate ladder or earning it, the team, whatever it is. You don't want to, be teaching them to be, just run away to the next thing. And again, we're not saying there aren't bad circumstances or ones that make sense for you to leave, but just really look in the mirror and self-audit here. Like, is it an adversity thing? Because if it is, good. And have quality mentors around them and talks that you're asking them questions that's helping them to understand if this is something you want, it's up to you to get better. It's up to you to find a way. Like, this is how life goes. Nothing will be handed to you. And again, it's going to help them be better at hockey. It's also going to help them down the road if your goal is really to help them play at a higher level hockey, this will happen to them at some level. Mm-hmm. If they keep going, this will 100% happen to them. So the younger that it happens, life lesson, you're living in with them, you can help them through it, usher them through it. And it's only going to serve them to be better in life, and hockey for as long as they're alive.
Amen, man. And I just want to I know we're up on time here, but I want to say a few things that I think are really relevant and kind of add on to some of the stuff that you were saying there. First of all, on another page, like we look at elite prospects as scouts and as recruiters. And if you are on 4 different youth teams in 5 years, that's a red flag. That's a really big red flag, because I'm probably going to think of you as a person that is about the me and not necessarily about the we, and they're running away from adversity, at a lot of the time. So I think that's one thing. Hi, Sophie.
Say hi. She's like, I don't know what this microphone is. I'm holding my daughter. She just woke up from a nap, ran up to me and said, Daddy.
There we go. There we go. That's what it's all about. And then, so like that, like just for perspective for everybody that's out there, like we don't love to see that. Especially at the college level, because it's a microcosm of what you're seeing with the transfer portal right now. And so that's one thing. And then the other thing, and we talked about it and you said it, like, if you want to make the higher levels of hockey, you got to be good. That's the most important thing, is you have to be good. And how do you be good? You focus on the things that you can control and you work your butt off to get better every day. Like that's the most important thing that people don't talk about. It's, oh, we got to be on this team, or, oh, we got to do this or that. No. The most important thing is that you're good. As a college coach, I never recruited a kid that wasn't a really good hockey player and a really good kid. And those are things that you can control with work ethic and attitude and the type of teammate you are and those kinds of things. And we talked about this with Ryan Carter on our podcast that we did with him that was out this week too. And so I'm probably repeating myself, but it's really relevant to what we're talking about right now. And that is playing for something bigger than you, playing for the front of the jersey, for the logo, for your town, for your family, for your teammates, and all that kind of stuff. When the environment is that you're playing for something bigger than you are going to become a better hockey player. You are going to become a better hockey player. That is called development, when you are playing for something that's bigger than you, because you are going to learn things about the game, little intangible stuff. You're going to learn to play different roles. You're going to learn how to go through adversity. You're going to learn how to be there for teammates when they're down. You're going to have teammates who are going to teach you how to get out of it when you're down. And these are all things that make you a better hockey player. So when you're playing for something bigger than yourself, and you're not so focused on my journey and making it and going to different teams to advance my stuff, and you're playing for something big, like that's going to make you a better hockey player. I promise you, it's going to make you a better hockey player. And so that gets lost in so much of what youth hockey has become about quote unquote making it and the individual journey, when it's backwards. When you actually think about it, the thing that's going to help you to be a better player is learning how to be a better teammate and fighting through all these things that we've been talking about over the past 12, 13 minutes. So like, I am a big believer in community. And it takes a village. And the more that you section yourself off and thinking about this as just solely individual stuff, I think the worse of a leg you're going to be on as a player for your development in a lot of different ways. And so obviously there are scenarios where you would want to make the jump to go somewhere else. But I promise you, like, just from knowing and seeing and talking to so many different families and kids, like, the grass is very rarely greener on the other side. And it's great to learn how to play for something bigger than you.
Lean into the damn adversity. Let's go, baby.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend, whatever day you're listening to this. Hopefully you got something out of it. We love you, and see you next week.